Can you just log out first? We start with so basic one. How to log in first? Yeah. Sign out, then sign in. Okay. We are using the test environment. We will give you the link for you to go and play around. Generally speaking, right?
Oke dah yuk, thank you ya, Putih ya. Thank you ya Gu. Yuk.
Sorry, don't mind. Because you already pre-save your password, so it's difficult. You don't need to key in password every time you log in, right? Sometimes yes, sometimes. Okay, never mind. If we can't show it, then get it. Okay, when you click on the link, if you have already set up your account, then it will show. Otherwise, you will have to key in your user ID information manually.
Kata dia kalau udah itu masuk langsung ke dalam aja. Lu mendingan ke sana aja. Yang kalian semua apa?
You are not presenting, kindly put yourself on mute, please.
Jelas. Yang apa disebut masuk ke dalam aja.
Please put yourself on mute. Okay, so you will need to log in using your Office 365 ID and password. Okay, this is the screen that will help you to log in. So if you are given a choice to choose S5 Agency World or S5 Asia, Office choose S5 Agency World. Okay, there you go. Sign in. Indonesia, can you please mute yourself? Okay, if you see this screen, basically you can skip or you can just click next. This one is not that.
Siapa? Dari si Johnny ini loh. Nih. Mau masuk ke meetingnya Pak? Enggak, mau masuk ke sistemnya kan ada dikasih user sama Johnny kan? Johnny. Mana? Iya, masa lo nggak ada sih Bapak Johnny? Ini.
Can you have? Okay, this is the main screen that you'll see when you log in. Okay, there's a lot of options here, which a lot of them we are not using, but we will run through those that we definitely need to use. Okay, go UAT for the demo. This one is live. Okay, this is the live environment. We will not touch this. We'll go into the UAT environment to show you how to do invoice processing. So on the top right-hand side, you will see which company this is for. So for example, if you need to change, you click on it, then you click the drop down, you can change the company. Showing which one? Okay, so we're going to do the demo using SPPA. Okay, click on the modules. All the modules will appear on your left-hand sidebar. This is where you can see everything, your AP, AR, etc. You go to AP, and go to Invoice, Invoice Journal. Okay, if you see anything here, it means these are all the journals that have not been posted. Okay, by default, it always shows invoice that has not been posted. So now we're going to create a new journal, new invoice journal. click on new, it will allow you to select the type of journal that you are trying to create. So if it's a vendor invoice, you select the vendor invoice and you change your description. Then go to your lines to go and where you go. Okay. You go to that financial dimension if you want to preset the default. Very similar to AX. So we have branch, customer, department, line of business, and project. These are the 5 dimensions that we have. Okay, so after you go to financial dimension, you can go into lines. The financial dimension will be defaulted. Okay, the date, the first date will always be defaulted to today's date, unless you need to change. Otherwise, you can leave it. The voucher will be a sequential number. So this one is 5, the next one will be 6, etc. Then the default that comes out for the account type will be vendor because we are doing a invoice journal. Okay, then you need to select your vendor account. And you will need to select your invoice date accordingly. Please take note, the invoice date is very important because moving forward, we are going to use the invoice date to calculate the payment due date. So this must be updated correctly. Okay, so for invoice, you will need to key in as a credit. This one quite straightforward, similar to AX. In fact, this portion is quite similar to AX. Okay, so for the debit side, add in a new line, you can select the account type to project. That's where you can book it against the project. You select sales tax group.
We can select that front.
So if you are booking to a project, you need to go into the project panel and select the category. The category is very important. See the list. Hold on. So these are all the list of the category that is based on Simplify. So if let's say there is a new Simplify category, we will be adding it in as well. Okay, for vendor invoices, the transaction type will always be expense. Scroll down. That should be, it's already preset already. Okay, then so for project, you have to slow down a bit because the internet training always got some lag. So for the purpose of project, you go back in. So for the purpose of project, the most important thing is to key in your category. If you don't key in your category, when you try to post this invoice, you would have a problem. As long as you choose project, you must have the category. The category will drive the accounting entry that happens after you post this invoice. Okay, if you need to select your VAT or your GST, this is the place where you select your various VAT or GST. Okay, depending on your country, there are different tax code. If there's any problem with your tax code, highlight to us and we will help you to troubleshoot and get the right things done. Okay. Tag in both lines. A project don't need to have tax code. Only the vendor invoice need to have tax code.
This one old practice.
Yes. I don't think it's needed. Okay, the next step you do is to validate. Okay, there are three options there when it comes to validation. Posting profile not set up. Okay, take note when you see posting profile error message just now, take off first. Okay, what happens is it says posting profile has not been set up in accounts payable parameter. If you see this kind of message, right, it means that the posting profile is either not set up or you have not entered your posting profile. Okay, then you go back to invoice under posting profile, select general. Okay, then you save and do this again. Okay, if it says operation complete, means that this is okay. Line property missing. You close off all the messages and then we do. UAT you all haven't used CRP environment. HKSA no tax. Okay, so okay, move to HKSA. Can you check whether there's any people still inside the waiting room, the training? Dismiss. Or you use ERP. ERP you all tried before, right? Use the ERP environment. You mute the. For those who are not talking, please keep yourself on mute. Thank you. Okay, we're going to show you again inside another environment. Right. Right. Okay, so we're going to show you another demonstration of doing a invoice processing. Okay, so after you select the company that you're looking for, or you're doing it for example, SPPA, and go into invoice journal. Okay, don't worry, the test environment is slow, but the live environment is much faster. So by default, when you come in, you will see all the journals that have not been posted. And just click on new journal, and you select the journal that you're trying to create, what type of journal you're trying to create, so that it will generate the correct sequential number accordingly. Okay, set your default financial dimension. So after you create a new journal, you change the description, depending on what's the description that you need to put in. Then you go to financial dimension to set up your default financial dimension. Let's type CNBJS first. ENBJS. Okay, then you go to lines to start your invoice entry. Okay, for the first line, it will always default to vendor. Then you select your vendor. Okay, so coming back to validation, just now when we try to validate, the environment has some issues, so there are some error messages. So under normal circumstances, when you try to validate, if there are no errors with your journal, it will tell you the operation is complete. Okay. You go back to validation again. Okay, in D365, there is this thing called simulate posting. Okay, this function is new. Previously, in the other version of AX, sometimes even though you validated everything is okay, but you cannot post because of some other reason. So in D365, you can actually do a simulate posting to test if there's any error with the journal before you pass to the approver to check and post. Okay, click on simulate posting. Okay, when you do your normal validation, it's only to validate against your normal invoice journal rules. But if you try to simulate posting, is basically asking the system to check all the way to whether you can post this journal. Like for example, whether your accounting period is open, etc. Everything is under the part of the check for simulate posting. Okay, if everything is okay, it will tell you operation is complete. That means no matter what happens, this journal definitely you can post. Otherwise, it will throw you the error message.
That in our workflow.
Have or don't have?
Don't have.
Okay, for CRP environment, we don't have the workflow set up, so that you can post direct. In the live environment, we have the workflow set up so that you cannot post your own journal. Which environment?
Like,
But you cannot do live now. UAT and CRP, which environment has the don't have. So after you have posted the journal, it will show you that the journal has been posted. Okay, if you refresh the screen, this journal will disappear from your screen because the default criteria for the filter is always showing not posted. So if you want to see the journal again, you go in and see either posted or click all and you can see the journal again. Okay, print journal. Okay, if you need to see the accounting entries of the journal or want to keep a copy of the journal that has been posted, you can go to print and look for print journal. Open one more for live environment. And try to go to print journal. Okay, we're currently showing you how to do a print journal in live. As you can see, it's much faster compared to the test environment. So you will be given this option on the right. Basically, you don't need to change anything, just click OK, it's fine. If you want to change the option, you can click on the down arrow button to show you what are the options available. So this is what you will see if you try to do a print journal. Okay, it will give you the accounting entries, the description, the financial dimension, etc. Okay, for those that require to do filing, right, this is how you can get your journal. Invoice processing, anything else?
This one basic.
Okay. This is what we can show you for invoice processing. Don't worry if you are not sure of the steps. We will send out the documentation as well after all the trainings are completed. Okay. For those, I'm sure all of you have a lot of questions in mind. Okay. In order not to drag the training for too long, please note down the questions that you have in mind and we will hold a separate discussion. Okay, next, we will show you how to do payment. Which environment you want to use? Okay, we'll start on doing a payment. First, we'll do a normal payment. Okay, take note, for the purpose of payment, we are doing it via GL. There's a reason behind it. Okay, go to GL to do a vendor payment. The reason being, if we try to do the payment via AP, in D365, it doesn't allow you to select the project. Okay, because in our context, we need to have the project. So in D365, it doesn't allow us to select project. which is why we have to do it via GL. However, we have set up a special type of journal name for payment. So for payment, right, it will say payment journal. So we select payment journal so that the sequential number for all your payments will run accordingly instead of jumble up with other GL journals. So no matter what, you need to make sure that you select the correct journal name. Okay, so same thing, you go to financial dimension and you put in the default financial dimension that you need. Okay, when you go to lines, go and select your vendor and select the vendor account that you're trying to make the payment for. Okay, then you go to function, settle transaction. This is where you can search for all the vendor invoices that have not been paid. Then you mark all those that you are trying to pay for. Then click OK. Okay, after you have selected, the system will automatically calculate the total amount for the payment and it will put in inside your debit. Then you need to go and select your bank account. Okay, take note, for the purpose of bank account, every bank account will be linked to individual GL account so that it is easy for revaluation and reconciliation. Okay, after you have done your entry, you click validate again to make sure everything is okay. System may prompt you if there's any error. If there's no error, then it will tell you operation complete. You close, you go back out. That's where you can do your posting. Okay, in the test environment, we did not set up the approval workflow, so we can post it ourselves. But in live, the approval workflow has been set. You cannot post your own journal. We post 连看它的 community。Okay, after the journal has been posted, you will see a tick box there. Okay, then you go and print your journal. Click OK. Then you will see the journal. Okay, it's taking a bit of long time because this is the test environment. Okay, so this is basically where you can see the accounting entries and the financial dimension. You can see that previously we put in the branch, the line of business. Okay, so it will tell you this has been posted, the posted date, etc. If you need this for your filing, you can go ahead and print this out for your filing. Okay, now we're going to show you a payment journal involving withholding tax. Okay, we are not going to post this because this is the live environment. Okay, same thing, you need to go and select your vendor. Okay, you select your vendor, you put in your description. Okay, then you go to function, settle transaction. Okay, you can choose one here. You can choose all those that you're trying to settle. Okay, take note. You will see a lot of transactions here. These are the open item transactions that we have imported from AX. Okay, if anybody find that there's something wrong with this transaction or it doesn't match to what you think it should be, please highlight to us immediately. Okay, if you think that something is wrong, please highlight to us immediately so that we can check. We have imported all the open item vendor invoices that are not paid. We have imported all the AR open items that we have not received payment from the clients. We have imported all those project open items that have been keyed in AX, but we have not generated the DA. Okay, and we have also imported the fixed assets. These are the 4 key open items that we have imported. Okay, don't worry about the accounting entry. The accounting entry has been reversed. And we have also imported the trial balances based on your AX balances for each month, starting from January 2021, so that when we generate the report, we can do the comparison between the current year versus the prior year. Okay, so all these are the open items. Of course, if you key in new invoices now, it will continue to add on to the items that you see for each vendor. But the default items that you see right now is all the open items that have been imported. Okay. So for the purpose of the withholding tax, right? You have to select first, right? Okay, if there is a withholding tax involved, it will need to be set up in advance. This is where you can select the withholding tax group. Okay, if you are expecting to have this and yet it's not there, please highlight to us as well. Okay, after you select that, you go to choose the transaction you want to settle. And you go to withholding tax and you click on new, that line will appear. That's where you can select the withholding tax code. Okay, depending on what is the correct withholding tax code to apply to this invoice, this is where you can select it. Okay, the system has certain control features. If there are key fields that need to be entered, but it's not entered, it will prompt you straight away. Okay, so watch out for the error messages. If you are having problems and you want to send your request to us to troubleshoot, I will give you the email addresses via, I will give you the correct email to send to later via email. If you have anything that you want people to troubleshoot, please do a screenshot of the error message. Without the error message, it's very difficult to help you. It's very important that you provide the error message. 你现在可不可以 print 啊？ Okay, now we're going to demo the other line, which is the bank account to select. Okay, now we're going to try to do a post journal printing to let you take a look at how it looks like. Okay, but because we cannot post this, click on diagnostic information. Cannot see anything. Close. Close, we try again. Posting profile not done. Posting profile. Okay, just now the error message says the posting profile is not selected. So you need to select the posting profile. Then we'll try to print the journal again. So as you can see from this screen, this is the journal that we have prepared. And you look at the top right-hand corner, it says that this is not posted. So you can always review the entry before you post. Scroll down. Okay, you'll see that right at the bottom, there is a currency. You have your debit and credit, and there is a reporting currency. You have your debit and credit. Okay, the currency here, right, is the currency of your journal to make sure that it ties. So as long as the balance is 0, you're okay. On the right-hand side, that is the reporting currency. For D365, we are using the reporting currency US dollar to convert all transactions to US dollar for reporting purposes. So from a day-to-day operational perspective, you can ignore the reporting currency. Okay. Unless you see that there is something very, very wrong. For example, if you are doing a journal for Vietnam dong and you see that your reporting currency is 1:1, that means 1 Vietnam dong equals to 1 US dollar. Then obviously something is very, very wrong. Please highlight to us so that we can troubleshoot. Okay. The reporting currency will be converted based on the exchange rate that we will update into D365 on a monthly basis. So the numbers should be calculated correctly based on the exchange rate in the system. So unless you see something very wrong, please highlight to us. Okay. Okay. So this is basically how payments will be done in D365. Okay, so because for most of you, apart from Indonesia, a lot of the things are done out of GBSC. This is how you need to go in and search for it. Okay, of course, some of you are also doing your own payments, but this is generally how you do your payment or how you search for your payment in D365. Okay, for those that you need to find a way, because current in AX, we do payment via AP. So you can print your mark payment listing report. In D365, because we are doing the payment in GL, we don't have this mark payment listing report. So if you need to have the listing, for example, if you are paying 15 invoices of one single vendor, you need to have a consolidated listing of the payments that you are doing. What you can do is you go to mark for payment and you see this icon on the top right hand side open in Microsoft Office. You click on it, it will give you the option to open this in Excel. Okay, then you click on it again. Okay, then you click export to Excel. Then click on download. It should give you an Excel file that gives you the invoices that you are paying for this particular transaction. Okay, this is only useful if you are paying for many invoices. If let's say you are paying for one invoice, your supporting document would be the invoice itself. So frankly, if you pay for one invoice, doesn't really matter whether you have a listing. Okay, but if you have a lot of invoices and you want to show to your approver that the total amount that you're paying for in the banking system matches all these supporting invoices, then it's good to have a summary. So this one, you can always print this out as a supporting document and put all the vendor invoices together with it and pass it to your approver for approval. Okay, this is the workaround that we need to do because in the AP delivered functionality, we have restrictions to do the things that we need to do. So we have no choice but to use this method. Okay, we will end the training for AP now, and we will continue with the training later in the morning. We will record all this video and share with you at a later stage. And please write down all the questions that you have so that we will arrange separate country by country sessions to talk about it. Okay, thank you very much for your time and attention. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Yes, Albert?
Yeah. I cannot asking for now.
No, arrange a separate session. I don't want to delay all the timing for the training because
Oh,
the
okay.
training timing is very tight. We want to cover as much as possible within the next 3 days so that everybody have a basic understanding of how the system works. Because I
Yeah.
know sometimes we need 2-3 hours to tackle all the questions. So I cannot afford the time right now for all the other countries.
Oh, okay.
So I hope you
I
understand.
will write down all the question and
We'll
later.
arrange another call,
Yeah.
country by country, to address the question.
Okay.
First, we go through the basic training first.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Thank
Albert.
you. Yeah. Thank you.